Chapter 5. The First Encounter. The gala was winding down. The last of the guests were lingering in the ballroom, exchanging chats and farewells. The lights were now dimmed. The once vibrant energy of the evening was only a gentle buzz that filled the huge space. Sebastian stood at the edge of the room, his mind still replaying the dance he had witnessed earlier. Lisa Hart, her name engraved in his thoughts, along with the image of her moving with such grace and intensity that it had left him breathless. He knew that he should be leaving, returning to the loneliness of his mansion, but something held him back. A curiosity, a pull that he could not quite explain. Without fully understanding why, he found himself making his way through the hallways that led to the backstage area. As he kept moving deeper into the building, the sounds of the gala was slowly fading behind him. The backstage area was a maze of activity, with performers and staff moving about, packing up and preparing to leave. But even amidst the chaos, there was a sense of calm, as if the energy of the night had been spent and only the aftermath remained. Sebastian paused, unsure of what he was even looking for, when a soft voice caught his attention. "Thank you, no, I'm fine. I just need a moment." He turned to see Lisa Hart standing alone by a row of dressing rooms, her back to him. She was still in her costume, an elegant dress that seemed to sparkle even in the dim light. Her hair, now slightly loosed from the performance, flowed down her back, framing the delicate curve of her neck. She was speaking to a stagehand, who nodded and walked away, leaving her alone in the room. Sebastian hesitated, unsure of how to approach her. He wasn't accustomed to being uncertain, especially not around others. But something about Lisa made him feel strangely vulnerable, as if she could see through the carefully constructed walls he had built around himself. Before he could change his mind, he stepped forward, his shoes clicking softly against the polished floor. Lisa must have heard him. She turned with her eyes widening slightly in surprise. For a moment, neither of them spoke, the silence stretching between them like a fragile thread. Then Lisa broke the silence, her voice soft but clear. "You are Mr. Blackwood, aren't you? I saw you in the audience." Sebastian nodded, a slight smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "I am. And you are Lisa Hart. Your performance was remarkable." She blushed slightly, a faint pink colored her cheeks, but her gaze remained steady. "Thank you. That means a lot, coming from someone like you." Sebastian tilted his head, intrigued by the way she held herself. She was confident, but not arrogant, strong, yet with a quiet humility. "Someone like me?" he thought. Lisa replied with a small smile on her lips. "A man who's achieved so much. I've heard stories about you, Mr. Blackwood. How you built an empire from nothing. It's inspiring." Sebastian's smile faded, replaced by a shadow of the pain that had haunted him for so long. Inspiring, perhaps, but it comes at a cost. Lisa's expression softened, as if she could sense the weight of his words. "Everything worth having does," she replied quietly. "But sometimes the cost is too high." Her words hung in the air between them, a subtle acknowledgment of the losses they both carried. For a moment, Sebastian said nothing, his gaze drifting to the floor as he wrestled with the emotions that threatened to overwhelm him. When he looked up, he found Lisa watching him with an intensity that took him by surprise. "You dance with so much passion," he said in a low voice, "as if you are pouring your entire soul into every movement. It reminds me of how I used to feel when I was building my business, like nothing else mattered, like I would stop at nothing to succeed." Lisa nodded slowly, her eyes never leaving his. "Dance is everything to me. It is how I express myself, how I make sense of the world. It's the one thing that has always been there, even when everything else has fallen apart." There was a depth to her words that resonated with Sebastian, a connection that he hadn't expected to find. It was as if she understood something fundamental about him, something that had been buried beneath years of grief and isolation. "I lost someone," he admitted, the words slipping out before he could stop them. "My wife. 10 years ago. Since then, I've felt lost. Empty. Like I'm just going through the motions." Lisa's eyes softened, a flash of sadness crossing her features. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "I can't imagine how hard that must be. But you're here. That means something, doesn't it?" Sebastian considered her words, the truth of them settling deep within him. "I suppose it does. I have spent so long shutting myself off from the world, I did not think that I could feel anything again. But tonight, watching you dance, it was like something woke up inside me." Lisa smiled, a genuine warmth that seemed to light up the small space they occupied. Art has a way of doing that, of reaching us when nothing else can. For a moment, they simply stood there, the silence between them comfortable and filled with an unspoken understanding. Sebastian found himself wanting to know more about this woman who had, in the span of a single evening, managed to stir emotions he thought were long dead. "You mentioned that dance is everything to you," he said, breaking the silence. "But what do you want from it? What's your dream?" Lisa's eyes sparkled with a fire that Sebastian recognized all too well, the same fire that had driven him to achieve greatness in his own life. "I want to make it big," she said, her voice filled with determination. "I want to perform on the world's greatest stages, to inspire others the way dance has inspired me. I want to leave a mark, to be remembered. I want to make my parents proud of me." Sebastian nodded, his respect for her growing with every word. "I believe you will. You have the talent, and more importantly, the drive." Lisa smiled again, a softer, more introspective smile this time. "Thank you, Mr. Blackwood. That means a lot coming from someone who has achieved so much." There was a pause, and then she added, almost as an afterthought, "But success doesn't mean much if you are alone, does it?" Her words hit him like a punch to the gut, the truth of them cutting through the layers of grief and isolation he had wrapped himself in. He had built an empire, achieved everything he had ever set out to do, but at what cost? Alice was gone, and with her, the life they had built together. He had everything, and yet nothing that truly mattered. "No," he said quietly, his voice tinged with sadness. "It doesn't." Lisa reached out, placing a hand on his arm, a gesture of comfort and understanding. "It's never too late to find something or someone to enjoy it with." Their eyes met, and in that moment, something passed between them, an unspoken connection, a shared understanding of loss, and the search for meaning. Sebastian did not know what it was, or where it might lead, but for the first time in years, he felt a glimmer of hope. "Perhaps you're right," he said, his voice steadying as he held her gaze. "Perhaps it isn't." Lisa smiled, a quiet, knowing smile that seemed to see right through him. "Take care of yourself, Mr. Blackwood. Life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Sebastian standing alone in the dimly lit backstage area, her words echoing in his mind. He watched her go, a strange mix of emotions swirling within him: grief, hope, curiosity, and something else, something he hadn't felt in a long time. As he left the hotel that night, the cold night air kept biting at his skin. Sebastian couldn't help but think about Lisa Hart and the unexpected connection they had shared. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, he found himself looking forward to what tomorrow might bring.